What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Leon Angus, and today we're going to be going through how your rankings may have potentially dropped and 7 reasons how that can happen in the Google search results. So what we're going to go through is just a list that I've got here of different topics of reasons of why this can happen and how you can potentially go about fixing it or rectifying it should it happen to you. Alright, so the first example that we're going to go through is if you were to experience a manual search engine penalty. Now the good thing about this is it's very easy to identify should you come across that. I've personally never experienced any kind of penalties on anything that I've done, but some of the ways that this can happen is just unscrupulous practice. So say for example, if you're getting like links from sites that are toxic, or you're doing some unusual kind of practice like getting links to a brand new site and you're plastering it with links, or you're buying cheap links from places like Fiverr and whatever else, you know, and you're not actually vetting those links properly. It could even be that you're getting links from elsewhere and you're not vetting them correctly and they're just toxic links. Okay, so any of these kind of things can set off triggers in Google and you can get penalized. Okay, so if this happens, what you need to do is head over to Search Console, and then if you come down to the section where it says security and manual actions, you can easily identify should you have any manual penalties. Okay, so you can check security issues and you can check manual actions. Most of the time you're going to see it look completely like this. It's not something that you usually need to check, but obviously if you do notice a massive drop in ranks, then this could be one of the potential reasons of why you're experiencing no traffic. The next reason could be that you're experiencing a Google algorithm update. Now, as many of you know, there was recently an update that was predominantly trying to target sites that are about your money, your life. So what this means is things that are all about like telling people about finance or telling people about health. Anything health related or financial related is one of those kind of areas of where you could experience a loss in traffic. Okay, so it might be a lot more difficult to actually establish yourself as an authority within any of those spaces. So the way that you can actually do that is by using credible authors on your site. So say for example, if you need to hire like a professional veterinarian, for example, a doctor or someone who has some credible experience across the internet and is publicly known to be a figure within that space or an authority on that topic, then that's a way that you could get around it. There's many different ways of how you can actually increase the potential perception of your authority on your site. And of course, if you are consistently publishing within a certain space, you establish topical relevancy, which I would have to recommend you test anyway, because there's no guarantee that you are going to succeed within that space. But the best thing I would advise is just to stay away from those niches. There's plenty of other niches that you can go into without having to go into your money, your life topics. Okay, so just leave that to the experts. And you with your little blog starting out, you can obviously just build yourself up in something else. The next one could be that your competitors have outranked you. Now this can happen when you're ranking and most of your traffic is coming from 1 or 2 keywords. And this is probably the most common reason of why people lose traffic. A lot of the time when I've ever spoke with someone or done a coaching call and things like that, and they've lost a substantial amount of traffic across their site, we can usually identify that they were getting most of their traffic, even 80% or above, from 1 or 2 pages. So one of your keywords rank really well and then the rest of them are not really doing so well. All right, and what you can actually identify is if we take a look at Backlinko. So Backlinko actually carried out a study where they analyzed over 5 million pages across Google's search engine results, and they figured out like an average click-through rate based on position. So if we take a look, you can see that in positions 1, you can average about 31% click-through rate, okay? Positions 2 is around 24%, 3 is 18%, 4, 13%, and it just diminishes as we go down there. Now, if you imagine you're in position 2, say for example, for a high volume keyword that's bringing you quite a lot of traffic, just moving 1 or 2 positions, maybe from 2 to 4, can cause you to see a massive drop in traffic. And this is just an average for the global results. So say for example, in your particular keyword, the average click-through rate on positions 4 is only like 8%, and positions 2 is around 30%. you could see a substantial drop in traffic. And not that I would advise you to focus on click-through rate, but obviously if you are ranking and you're not getting the traffic, then you want to look at click-through rate. But if you're not ranking in the first place and you can see that you've moved only a few positions for one of your high volume keywords, then that could be the answer of why you're not seeing traffic across your site. So the way that I always analyze this, and whatever I advise people whenever they come to me, is are you dropping traffic across the entire site? Because then that could be a manual penalty or something like that, one of the other points that I mentioned. Or are you seeing substantial traffic drop on one or two articles? And that helps you to identify what rabbit hole to go down on that particular problem to dissect it. All right, so the next one is going to be that you potentially are losing backlinks. Now, many of you are not going to be supportive of backlinks, especially if you watch this channel, because I teach you many methods on how to rank without links, okay? So the way that I break down niche sites is into 3 steps all the time, yeah? There's 3 things that you need to do perfectly in order to have the results that you're looking for, to have substantial growth, traffic, and income, okay? So those 3 things is good keyword research or great keyword research, great content, and great backlinks, okay? So it doesn't matter what sequence you do that in, you have to have those 3 things working together in order to get results, okay? So once you've established your keyword research, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. Like you can, for example, you could identify keywords that are of medium competition or high competition, where there's some level of authority sites within those results that you're trying to target, okay? Or you could go for completely easy keywords, and that's when all of the sites are like under, say for example, a DA20 in the results or in the top 3, okay? So where you're trying to get to, those sites are of low authority, so they don't have any links majority of the time, and if they do have links, they're just low authority sites, so they're relatively easy to outcompete, okay? Or the content is very poor when you look at the pages, or they're not on topic. All those different things are signals to say that it's easy to go for. So once you've identified that, the next thing is creating high quality content. Now, depending on how you do your keyword research will depend on if you need to do the 3rd step, which is backlinks. So if you go for these super easy terms, then you don't need the links, okay? But if you go for anything of some level of competition, then you're going to need the links. You're going to need that 3rd step, okay? And links are always important to get, regardless of whether you're building them actively or you're getting them passively inbound, okay? So it's something that Google uses in their algorithm, it's baked into the algorithm, and it's a way of them identifying how relevant a particular topic or page is within its SERPs. So what you need to do is sometimes check to see if your links are being lost, okay? And some of the links that are the ones that make up the substantial part of your backlink profile and the ones that count are the do follow links. And the best tool that I can recommend for that is going to be Ahrefs. So if we actually just take a look at Ahrefs, it gives you some data, okay? So you can see your referring domains and you can see new and lost links. So what you would need to do is check out and see all of the links that you've lost, and you can actually click different results and different days, and it shows you overall links that you've lost. And there's different views of how you can view this. You can view it by monthly or overall lost, you know, since XYZ 2019, so on and so forth. And what you want to do is just keep a tab on how many referring domains are on your site, okay? So if you don't have a subscription to Ahrefs, you can simply obviously get the report and then just export it, and that will give you all of the data that you need. And then you can cross-reference that in the future to see obviously if you have a substantial amount of links that have been lost. So if we go to here, do follow, you can see they have 279. Even just simply making a note of 279 links that are do follow today, if you see that drop dramatically to like, you know, 200 in the next couple of months, then there might be a problem. So you can see here they've got minus 36 over the last 30 days or so, okay? And you can also look at this from a view here, which is referring domains. You can see all time, 1 year and last 30 days. And again, you can export that information into a CSV file and keep it in an Excel spreadsheet. So you can see all the live links, and then it shows you historical links and so on and so forth. Okay, so you just want to keep a tab on those links to monitor and see how many links that you're losing and gaining, and so on and so forth. So that's why I always believe if you're making like about $500 a month, it's probably a good idea to have Ahrefs as a subscription. If you haven't got that or you can't afford that, then just use something like Key Search. The only thing is the backlink analysis on that tool is not as accurate as what you're going to get on here. It's quite way off when it comes to backlinks. It's very good on keyword research. The next one is going to be your site speed changes. So this can be affected by many different factors. Sometimes over time, you're just going to see that your site speed diminishes. Could be that you're adding different plugins and they're site-wide. Say, for example, you're using shortcodes or you're doing these different things, or you change your theme, you change your hosting service. All of these different things make a difference on how fast your pages load. And the way to identify this is simply to head over to a site like Pingdom, and this will show you how it loads for the users, okay? But if you want to see the more in-depth analysis, then you can go over to Google's Page Speed Insights, and then you drum your page into there and you'll be able to see how fast that page is loading. Now, what people get wrong when it comes to site speed changes is they look at it from a site-wide perspective, and that couldn't be further from the truth. What you actually need to do is analyze everything on a per page basis, and that's everything for websites, whether you're doing anchor text ratios, analyzing the difficulty of a term. All of your pages are on a per page basis. So Google actually ranks pages and not websites. So your site overall is obviously what makes your overall authority when all of those pages are combined. But when you're doing your analysis or you're trying to rank something or whatever it may be, it's on a per page basis. And the more you do that, the more intricate your information will become, and the more accurate you'll be able to make decisions. Definitely always monitor your site speed, and just go through your site every so often, maybe once every 3 months, and just take a look at like a random 10 pages, load them up in the tool and see that they're loading fast enough. Now, if you're asking how fast do they need to load, it needs to be under 3 seconds on average. That's what Google wants and what they've disclosed publicly. But if you really want to be in the top performing sites, then you need to be loading in under 2 seconds, okay? I always go for under 2 seconds, but if you can't meet that, then obviously you want to be under 3 seconds. And if you're considering like what themes should you go for, definitely I would recommend the top theme to go for is going to be, if you just have a blog, it's going to be Akabadu. And if you are like trying to, you know, customize your site, make it look nice and all of that kind of thing, then it's going to be Astra theme. So overall, I'd say my best theme is Astra at the moment. I'm using it across all my sites. It's Astra across all of them apart from my own main site. And another good theme that you could use, and it's very customizable as well, is Generate Press. Okay, so those are probably the 3 themes that I'd recommend for site speed. The next one is user behavior changes. So when you actually head over to analytics, you can see all of your user data. So it shows you how long people are staying on pages, your bounce rate, your exit rates, all of that. So that shows you what pages people are actually clicking away from mostly, what pages people are coming on and bouncing straight back off and researching the term, and also how long people are staying on your pages and reading the content. So you can analyze this site-wide, or you can analyze this on a per page basis. And what you want to do is improve it on a per page basis, because that will give you the best overall metrics, okay? And a majority of the time, this can happen if you're changing your theme, or if you have blocks of text on your pages, if you don't have enough media like images or videos to keep people reading and keep people enticed, or if you're not using the right introductions. Your introductions need to be clearly identifying what you're going to be discussing and what someone can aim to gain by reading this article, okay? So they need to know that they're going to get the answer within the topic because they've searched it and they're looking for an answer. So you need to confirm to them and convince them that that's what they're going to get within your post, okay? And a lot of the time, people are also not using like tables or Gutenberg. It has so many different functions now, like leveraging expert quotes, making your post look nice, changing the way your images look. You can use that and your pages are still going to load super fast. So I don't actually use shortcodes or anything like that anymore. It's all Gutenberg. Because they give you so much options, your pages can remain light and it still appears and has all the customizations that you're looking for. So whatever it is that you're looking for, you can probably do in Gutenberg. All of my tables, everything are now in Gutenberg. All right, so make sure that your pages and your user behavior is a good experience, like, you know, visually, and also by function, you know, so it needs to be loading fast and it needs to be providing the readers the information that they're looking for. The last one on the list is number 7, which is keyword cannibalization. So a lot of people don't believe this is even a real thing, but it definitely is. And the way you can identify this is with a tool like Ahrefs, or it could be a tool like SEMrush, okay? So what keyword cannibalization is when two keywords are so similar, or two pages are so similar, that Google gets confused of what one to rank you for. So sometimes you can get different experiences. Sometimes you might get one that ranks really well and one that just doesn't show up in the SERPs. It's indexed, but you just can't find it anywhere. Or it could be another experience of where they both get dipped and none of them rank because Google's just indecisive about which one is most relevant. All right, so the way to identify that is just to come over to a tool like Ahrefs. It's very easy to find. You just type in your site and then you go to organic keywords, and then just on the right here we've got this little chart looking thing, like a graph looking thing. You just click that and it shows you any keywords that are potentially cannibalizing. So if you see two different articles here, like in your permalinks, and the way you can actually get out of this and cannibalization easily is if you use static pages for your money content, okay? Because those are the ones that are usually going to cannibalize, yeah? Like if you're doing like a lot of Best Buy reviews and things like that, you might do best, like if I take my site, the dog site, I might have best dog harness, but then I might have the best dog harness for golden retriever, and then I might be talking about retrievers on the best dog harness article as well. So that could cannibalize because I'm mentioning retriever on that. So the way that you actually fix it when you experience cannibalization is you will need to de-optimize one of your articles. One of the quickest ways to do that is by removing the keyword that's cannibalizing from the H1 title, from the permalink, or from the meta title, so the one that shows up on the SERPs, okay? You could obviously do Command F on a Mac or Control F on a PC and then identify that keyword within the article. So if my main article about best dog harnesses is mentioning golden retrievers and I don't really want to rank it for something to do with golden retrievers, then remove all instances of that keyword and de-optimize that post for that to allow Google to understand that the main one is the one on best dog harness for golden retrievers specifically. So if we take a look back at this, I can't actually identify any cannibalizing keywords here, but you'll see a crossover a majority of the time, and that's how you would clearly identify it. But here we can see that there's a cross here and we've got two articles crossing over. Okay, so this is just before the end of the video, we found it here. So you can see there's all these articles within the SERPs here for this keyword. So for this keyword, we can see there's best harness there, best harness, best overall. So this looks like it's the same thing. Like, I don't know whether they've redirected or done something there. We've got like hashtags. I don't even know what that means. But we can see here that these two pages, looks like they're separate entities, are actually cannibalizing. So where these are crossing here and meeting at this point, you can see that they're both ranking for this keyword and Google's unsure about what one it should rank. Okay, so both of them could be getting hurt. They're in position 19 for that at the moment. Both of them could be getting hurt. They're in positions 2 for this at the moment. So one of them could be getting hurt unintentionally, you know, if they have two different articles on that. So that's the way you would fix it, is just by doing the things that I mentioned, and that should get you out of that circumstance. Thanks guys, that's the end of the video. Unfortunately, in editing I realized that I never recorded the end. So if you are brand new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you did like the video, obviously smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for during my unusual ending. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.